Hey guys, and welcome back to another SOS part. Today I'm honored to present you Slovenian Mamba. Now this guy is actually from my country. Yeah, I'm talking about a guy that's actually from Slovenia just like me. Now that's pretty rare because right now we have like 3-4 people that I actually know on YouTube that actually commented their videos and are actually from Slovenia. Yeah, to find people from Slovenia that commented their videos, that's pretty rare. So uh, amazing narration, great valor. This video will actually prove it. uh, there's really, I'm out of words here. Just a little message to Slovenia Mamba: if you actually come into Celje, let me know and let's go grab some beer. Yeah, guys, enjoy the bell, and like I said before, let the bell speak for itself. If you enjoyed, don't hesitate to subscribe to him, because that's what this video is for. And this guy does deserve way more subscribers than he has right now. But anyways, I'm gonna shut up and enjoy the bell.
Hello everybody, here is a battle against Freeze. In this battle I use some of my new Pokemon which I made recently. I lead off with my Gardevoir and he goes out with his Aerodactyl. I went for Psychic because I was expecting a Tom, but he actually used Stealth Rocks. Psychic did decent damage on him, so that was okay. I go for another Psychic and then he switched into his Blissey. And of course my Psychic does nothing because of Blissey having an epic special defense. He then poisons my Gardevoir and I synchronize it back to him. I start setting up my screens and we get some poison damage, and then I switch into my Ring. He goes for Toxic, which was actually good because I carry Toxic Orb, so thank you Blissey, I guess. And we get some poison damage, and then on the switch I go for the Swords Dance and I raise up my attack, and then I go for Fire Punch. So yeah. His Fortress didn't have a chance of living my Fire Punch. After I KO his Fortress, he goes into a Starmie, and here I make a mistake because I stayed in and took the Surf. Even if it wouldn't have been crit, I would still have died for sure. And then I go into my, what's this thing called, Licky, and I go for Gyro Ball. I was thinking that he'll stay in, but he didn't. And then he switches into his Metagross, and my Gyro Ball does nothing. Absolutely nothing. I switch into my Crossdress again, as he goes for Earthquake. And because of my screens, I'm able to live it quite well. Then he withdraws into his Blissey again, and I go for Wish. And here my Reflect wears out, so I have to set it up again. I go for Light Screen, and he goes for Flamethrower, which will do almost nothing to me. And then I get some Wish recovery. We both get some Left House recovery, and I go for another Wish. I was just stalling him. He goes for Flamethrower, and again does almost nothing. I get some toxic damage, and then I switch into my Infernape. He goes for Flamethrower and doesn't hurt me a lot, and I get Wish recovery, so my Infernape is back at full health. And I was expecting a switch here into his Metagross, so I went for Fire Blast, and luckily he switched and his Metagross is no more. I was lucky that I predicted correctly here, because if I wouldn't have taken Metagross down at this point, I would have lost the match. And then he goes back into his Starmie, which I knew it was Choice Specs or Choice Scarf at the time, I'm not sure. So yeah, I send in my Gardevoir, just as that father I guess, and then I go back into my Licky, and he switches into his Infernape. I go for the Curse. I raise up my attack and defense, but I'm afraid I can't live through his close combat, so I switch into my Dusknoir, and he goes for U-turn. So if I would have stayed in, That would have been a good idea, but I didn't want to risk close combat. So here he sends in his Blissey, and he poisons my Dusknoir. And I go for the Pain Split, and I do decent damage on him. Almost half. Then my Reflect wears out again, but now I can't set it up again. His Blissey goes for Flamethrower. I go for another Pain Split. I do some more damage on him, so he's down to full. He's down to half of his health, so that's quite good going on my part. Then I switch back into my Licky, and he uses Soft Boiled, which is great, I guess, because he didn't hurt my Licky. We get some left hours recovery, and then he poisons me, so there's no way that I can pull out a successful curse walling or anything, or maybe curse sweeping. So yeah, that's a shame. I get some left hours recovery and some more poison damage, and he goes for Flamethrower again. I knew that I can't live much longer, so I just used another Earthquake. And here I made a decision to do something awesome. So yeah, but first we get some left hours and poison damage and soft boil, and then I go for curse. I was just hoping that I'll live through his attacks and that he won't switch, because if he would have switched out here it would have been pointless. But he goes for another Flamethrower, which was awesome, and I go for explosion. I know, usually I put in the sound of what the fuck, boom, but not today. I find it lame now. It's getting old. So yeah, I blow up myself and the Blissey. So here we'll have a double switch in. He goes into his Aerodactyl and I go into my Dusknoir again. I go for the Will-O-Wisp, and he goes for Roar, so yeah, too bad for him. And here I go for Mach Punch, but sadly I don't take him out. He lives with just a little bit, but because he's burned, his Earthquake won't kill me. So yeah, that was amazing luck on my side. Thank you for being burned, Aerodactyl. And then he goes into his Starmie again, and I'm forced to switch out. So I go back into my Dusknoir, and he goes for Surf, which will be a 2-hit KO because I'm poisoned. I go for Protect. I don't know, just to stall him out a little bit. Actually, I didn't do nothing with this. And he goes for another Surf, and down goes my Dusknoir. And then I send in my Clefable, and he goes for Surf. But my Clefable takes it quite well, I must say, and I go for Body Slam. Sadly I don't Parahack it, and he goes for another Surf. And I just go for another Body Slam, and here was the thing that saved me. He gets Parahacked. If he wouldn't have get the Parahack right now, I couldn't have Soft Boiled because he would outspeed me and knock me out. So yeah, that was good going on my part. And too bad for Starmie, it got Parahacked. So I had another free turn. I went for Cosmic Power, and I rose my defense. He went for another Surfs, and he naturally did little less damage than before. And then he withdraws into his Infernape, and I go for another Cosmic Power. So yeah, I have +2 defense and special defense, so I think I'll be able to live his close combat. He goes for his close combat, and down goes my health, and it stops. He gets a defense drop, and I go for Body Slam. And I almost knock him out, but he survives, so what a shame. And then he goes for another close combat and knocks out my Clefable. But the August did a great job here. because it managed to wear down both Starmie and Infernape. So yeah, his Infernape dies because of Life Orb, he then switches into his last Pokemon and I switch into my last Pokemon. I go for Mach Punch and I knock out his Starmie. So, great game, Freeze, hope we can battle again sometime, and for the rest of you people, please rate, comment, subscribe. Bye bye.